people, I'm back today with a tag video, except nobody tagged me in it because hashtag I started booktubing yesterday, but that's fine. I just read Cozy Tea Read's video on reading habits, and I've been kind of going through other people's reading habits because like that's kind of, a cool thing to learn about your other book people. So I found the list of questions and thought I would do them myself because I love this tag. And without further ado, here we go. First question, do you have a certain place at home for reading? And I do not have a certain place at home for reading. I like to read on my couch a lot in the evenings, or I also just like read in my bed before I go to sleep at night. So I kind of read anywhere. Question number 2, bookmark or random piece of paper? Well, it used to always be bookmarks, and I used to collect them and keep them like on a special slot on a shelf in my closet, and I just went and like grabbed a couple. These are bookmarks from my childhood. Obviously, this little guy is ages old. He's kind of cute. I still use him sometimes, but it has to be like a heavy book because he's so thick. I have had these bookmarks forever. They're like from Barnes & Noble, I think. And then I started collecting these like fancy art ones at art museums. I sometimes use these in my art books, but I also sometimes am weird and like don't take them out of their packages. And then I went through a phase where I used photo booth strips of like friends and I in high school. This one cracks me up because it has this cheesy thing on the top that we didn't realize was there. So nowadays though, I do use random pieces of paper, index cards, mainly sticky notes because I like to like write commentaries on stuff that I'm reading, and sticky notes are awesome. So a little bit of everything, but more now I use random pieces of paper than bookmarks, but I still have a collection of those from back in the day. Next question, can you stop reading or do you have to stop at a certain amount of pages or at a certain point? Well, if I'm really sucked in and I'm awake, I wait till like chapter breaks, but as of late, I've been reading before I fall asleep, so I usually fall asleep with the book on my face, and that determines when I stop reading. Do you eat or drink while reading? Always coffee all the time. The librarian in me is like kind of weird about eating while I read books because I'm like, one, not very sure how to do that, like multitasking, but two, I'm also like really afraid of getting food smudges on my pages. Working in the special collections library has really like triggered that anxiety in me. So no, I don't eat usually while I read, but I always have a cup of coffee with me. That's just a life problem that I have. The next question is multitasking, TV or music while reading? TV, no, because I want to do one or the other, and music sometimes. A lot of times on road trips, I'll be listening to music and reading at the same time. And in 9th grade, I remember that I had picked up Kate Tunstall's then first album at a Starbucks, listened to it on my Discman on repeat while reading The Devil Wears Prada from cover to cover, and for some reason that was like a really good pairing. So good experience. Usually no, sometimes yes if I'm on a road trip. One book at a time or several all at once? Good question. Several all at once. I like to have a ton of books that I'm reading all at once, partly because I'm too excited about reading, partly because it like, I don't know, it helps me move forward in all my books, so that way I can like get really bogged down in a novel and then I need to like take a breather, but I don't want to stop reading, so I like read someone's memoir or I read something else, and then I don't know, it just like fuels the fire of reading all those things at once. Reading at home or reading everywhere? I can read pretty much everywhere. I do love to read at home. I love to read in my school library. There's like huge fluffy armchairs on the top floor by the skylights that I like to read in at night. But I guess I do most of my reading at home. If I'm reading in public, it's probably school-related books. Like I'm reading, I don't know, like at work during downtime, or I don't know, if I'm reading somewhere other than home, I'm probably multitasking, so it's probably school stuff. Reading out loud or silently in your head? Interesting. If I'm reading by myself, will read in my head. If I'm like with friends and we're all reading, I'll be like, oh my gosh, listen to this cool thing that I just read, and probably I'll like read a little bit to them. The only time that I read out loud as like my default is when I'm editing papers, because that's the only way that I can catch if I've written something that sounds super awkward or doesn't make any sense. Next question. Do you read ahead or ever skip pages? Only if I'm really, really stressed out or I need to know what happens. I am the type of person who can enjoy a suspenseful like plot, but like sometimes the drama like gets me too like wound up, and I need to know how it ends so that I can enjoy the ride. So for example, I read the ending of the 6th Harry Potter book before I read the middle of it, and some people say this is bad because you spoil things for yourself, but for me, my attitude is I can read the first couple chapters of The Half-Blood Prince and the last couple chapters, so I know like generally what to expect in the middle, but I don't know when, where, or how. So yes, I will sometimes skip ahead, and no, it doesn't bother me. Ugh, number 10 gets me. Breaking the spine or keeping it like new. Ugh. Also, ugh, I keep them like new as best as I can. I used to break the spines, and now, like I said, I work at a rare books library where like our biggest like the biggest arch nemesis of my day-to-day life is the broken spine. So, like I said, anxiety. So many broken spines in my life have caused so much brokenness in my heart. So I try to keep my book spines unbroken. Um, yeah, we have like a super giant book on display in our library that I work at, that every day like one of us has to change the page so that like the spine doesn't crack while it's on display. And now like if I see a book lying around, I'll be like, oh no, I left it open, it's gonna crack. Actually, I saw a Peruse Project video last night, which was super funny, and she left a book open and that happened to her. And girl, I feel your pain. That's like the worst thing ever. So frustrating. So that's number 10. And lastly, do you write in your books? I will write in nonfiction books or school books, but generally not in novels. I'll dog-ear novels sometimes, but other than that, no, I do not write in my books. So, there you go. Those are some of my reading habits. I always enjoy reading other people's reading habits and seeing how we are alike or not, because it's just kind of fun to swap notes on that sort of thing. So anyway, now I'm going to be really, really self-conscious of the things I do or don't do while I read, and if anything changes, I'll keep you posted. So what are some of your reading habits? Do you do these things? Do you not do these things? Do you read out loud to yourself? Are you nervous about Cheeto fingers on your valuable pages? Also, thoughts on dog earing. I've heard many strong opinions on to dog ear or not to dog ear, even more so than writing in books, which sometimes surprises me because writing in books can be more permanent than a dog ear. So anyway, blah blah, book habits. Off to more reading now, and I will see you on the flippity flip.